Hi, I'm Scott. I'm here today in a real kitchen cooking real food for real people. I've got a 3-course menu that is so easy to make, anyone can do it. So let's run through these dishes. We're going to start off with a beautiful loin of cod with some mushrooms, some samphire. We're going to make a lovely vibrant green sauce out of all these herbs and some rapeseed oil. Moving on to a luxurious rack of lamb with some new potatoes, some fennel, some summer beans, and we're going to make a lovely quick gravy to go with that lamb too. Before we move on to a lovely set panna cotta, a little point of difference in there with some beautiful blackberries, some thyme and some roasted fennel seeds. Beautiful, simple, local ingredients. Okay, we're going to make a start on the cod. We've got a beautiful loin of cod here from our local fishmongers. Just ask him to take that skin off for you. It's not going to be needed for this. And we're going to take 4 very generous portions ready to be pan fried at a later stage. So moving on to the garnish, we've got some lovely gooseberries here, got a real tartness to them, which is going to really cut through the flesh of that cod. All we need to do is stew these down. So a nice medium heat on your stove, and then just gently add them gooseberries. Nothing added to it. What's going to happen is the juice in the gooseberries are just going to burst out and they're going to gently stew in their own juices. Once we've got a nice jam-like consistency, we're going to move it over to the blender and blitz it to a real fine puree. Lovely. So once we're nice and smooth in the blender, we're going to bring that over to a sieve and we're just going to pass all of that out. We're going to push it through the sieve to give a lovely smooth finish. Great, so we're going to move on to our green sauce, this vibrant herby sauce. You're going to get handfuls of these beautiful herbs. So I've got some dill, some tarragon, flat leaf parsley. Just tear it all off onto your board. This is so simple, so delicious. Works with many things. And just run your knife through. Don't over chop the herbs, don't bruise the herbs. You get that waft, so vibrant, so beautiful. So our herbs are chopped into the bowl, and we're just going to add a little pinch of salt, and we're going to douse a little bit of rapeseed oil. That is good to go, ready to dress our fish. Okay, now we're moving on to the main part of the dish. We're going to start cooking this cod off. Really simple, with just a little bit of sea salt on top, pans on the stove, nice moderate heat on there. Then we'll put it into a cold pan, a little bit of rapeseed oil, and we're just going to wait for that to gently come up to temperature. So when our pan's nice and hot, we're going to add that cod, just putting it away from you, all in. 2-3 minutes, we're going to turn it over, another 2 minutes, another butter, take it off the heat, and that's your fish done. So once that fish is cooked, we're going to very carefully remove it from the pan, drain it onto a clean cloth, like so. One last thing, we're going to return that pan back to the heat. We're going to add those mushrooms and those samphire in the same pan, ready to dress over the top of our cod. We're going to go in with our mushrooms first, and give them a lovely fry, and all that kind of fishy butter, so all that flavour is all in the pan. Nice bit of salt on there, and then just keep them moving, nice and gentle. I'm going to give those a minute, minute and a half in the pan, handful of samphire, back off the heat, and then we can plate up. Okay, let's plate up. Let's start with the gooseberry. The centre of that bowl, like so. Take that cod right in the centre, our samphire and our wild mushrooms, just sitting on top of there. Let it be natural, let it do its thing. We're gonna go our green sauce over the top, touches and kisses every part of the dish. And then some beautiful edible garden flowers to finish. Give that real wow factor. Right guys, let's move on to this main course. We've got a brilliant rack of lamb we've got from our local butchers, okay? We've asked him to French trim it where he's just cleaned them bones up for us. And all we're gonna do is give a nice, simple roast into the pan, 12 minutes in the oven, we're gonna let it rest. That's all we have to worry about. So onto the lamb, we're just gonna get our salts, nice, liberal, all the way over that flesh, and then the fat side as well. Now with lamb, as we know, it's quite a fatty cut, so we don't need a lot of oil in the pan, just a little drizzle. Now we're going to let that fat render in that pan, very gently hold it down so we get a nice even roast all over the pan. Okay, so then after that kind of 4-5 minutes, that beautiful golden brown, we're gently going to turn that lamb over. We're going to brown the underside of the lamb. That's going into an oven at 180 degrees for 12 minutes. So to serve alongside the rack of lamb, we've got 2 side dishes. We've got some beautiful peas, broad beans. Gonna finish that off with some roquettes and some fresh mince. And we're gonna do some roasted new potatoes and roasted fennel. Let's crack on and get this veg prepped. Right, let's move on to the fennel and new potatoes. So firstly, we're just gonna take our bulb of fennel. We're gonna cut it straight in half, straight through the core, and then into nice wedges. And when that water comes to the boil, we're just gonna give that a quick blanch in the water. It's gonna come out after 2-3 minutes and it's ready to be roasted in the pan. For the new potatoes, nice and simply, we're gonna pop them into a pan. Nice pick of fresh thyme. Boom, a little crush of garlic. Salt. Just cover with cold water and then they're gonna come up to the boil. So we've got our fennel prepped. That's gonna go into the boiling water. Before I do that, I'm just gonna turn this fan onto full. We're gonna blanch that 1 to 2 minutes and then we're gonna take it out and just let it drain on that plate. So moving on to potatoes, now they've come to the boil, we're gonna turn that down and just let them gently simmer for about 15 minutes until they're nice, soft and tender. Right now, to finish off this side dish of the roasted fennel and the new potatoes, we obviously need to fry them. A nice little trick for the potatoes, just nick the ends off of each side. Gives a lovely presentation when it goes into the pan. A little oil. Lovely roast, golden brown all the way over. That's it, done. Right, let's get that lamb out of the oven. Wow, look at that. Beautiful, smells amazing, looks fantastic. Gently place it down. We're just gonna remove the lamb from the pan and we're just gonna give that 10 minutes resting just to relax. While that's happening, we're gonna move on to the gravy and finish off those peas and then we're ready to serve. Right, now we're gonna move on to the gravy, okay? A really lovely port and red wine reduction and that's finished off with a real strong lamb stock. I've got a lamb stock here that I've made, but you can get them in a supermarket ready available. When our pan's really nice and hot, we're gonna add the port first. Adding the port first concentrates the sweetness of the sauce. Really reduce right down, straight into that rapid boil. And we're gonna reduce that right down by about half the amount. Once we're there, in with the red wine, emulsifying those together. So once we've got the reduction of our port and red wine, straight over the top with our lamb stock. And again, we're just going to boil those together, reduce it down, the most beautiful gravy ready to serve with our lamb. While that's happening, I'm going to move over to the peas. Very, very simple. A little splash of water in the bottom of the pan, nice hot. A little splash of rapeseed oil in there as well. We're going to bring it to the boil. We're going to add our broad beans and our peas and they're going to cook in less than a minute. Going in with the broad beans first, into that boiling water nice and gently. Peas in the same pan, nice and simple. Literally takes less than a minute to cook these beautiful sweet beans through. So we've got our lamb now, beautifully rested, and we're just gonna take a carve down each bone for each cutlet. Taking that over to our plates. And just lay that presentation. We've got our roast potatoes straight in the bowl there. Dot them around, don't worry about it. Everybody's diving in and helping themselves as they go. These peas, little handful of roquette, some fresh tear of mince. Mix it over, ready to go into a serving bowl. Let's take our sauce and let's go a little bit over the lamb, like that. Let's get the rest in the jug. And let's just give it a little drizzle of rapeseed oil to finish. So here we are, our sharing rack of lamb, roasted new potatoes, fennel, peas, broad beans, and wild roquette. Lovely gravy for the middle of the table. Okay then guys, let's get on to our final course, a beautiful set panna cotta. Okay, classic recipe, a slight twist to it. We have some toasted fennel seeds going through there, some blackberries which we're just going to macerate down, a little bit of sugar and some fresh picked thyme. It's going to be an absolute crowd pleaser and super simple. We take our gelatine leaves and we're just going to pop those into some cold water, which blooms the gelatine. This is what's going to set the milk and the cream. Straight into a pan, we're going to go our sugar in the bottom, milk and double cream all in together. And all we're going to do at this stage is dissolve the sugar in the bottom of the pan. Really important that we don't let it come to the boil, otherwise it will split and you get that horrible grainy texture. And then onto our pan, nice and hot, we're just gonna add those fennel seeds and we're just gonna give them a nice toast, get those natural oils from the fennel and then straight in to our cream and milk mixture and turn that off. So now at this stage, we've infused the milk and the cream with that toasted fennel. Just gently squeeze off the excess water from the gelatine, pop that in, and then just gently stir, and that gelatine will dissolve pretty much straight away. So once that gelatine is dissolved, take the pan off the heat. We're gonna get our sieve, hold it back over the jug, and we're just going to pour our panna cotta mix back through, because we don't want those fennel seeds. Great, so now we've got our mixture in our jug. We're just gonna fill lovely glasses of panna cotta mix. And they're gonna go in the fridge for a couple of hours, even overnight if we need to. And then ready to be finished with our beautiful blackberry garnish on top. Take them over to the fridge, ready to set them. Okay guys, the final process. Let's get these macerated blackberries working. Take your knife, just chop them down. Doesn't need to be particularly neat, just cut them into nice chunks really. Take them into the bowl, like that. A little sprinkling of sugar, and then take your fresh thyme and just pick that. Thyme and blackberries absolutely love each other. Just the leaves, not too much of the stalk. And that's it. So here we have it guys, our panna cottas, perfectly set and worth the wait. What a fantastic way to finish off your 3-course menu, the beautiful panna cotta, these awesome macerated blackberries, just perfect. Right guys, there we have it. It's quick, it's simple, it's delicious. 3 amazing dishes cooked using local seasonal ingredients, using these NEFF appliances designed in this beautiful kitchen by Kensington Scott. If I can do it, and so can you. So go gather some friends, get round the table and tuck in.